Well, it's the weekend. We're not playing until tomorrow, but we've got things to discuss before then, so we may as well do it. Talking points. I'm Sam Spurs for life. Man City.
It's just different.
Hello, welcome to PRTv, Paxton Road TV. I am Sam Spurs for life. This is Talking Points, episode number 112. Let's just put that up. There it is. And I am joined by my esteemed friend. Oh, we don't like that view. There we go.
God.
That's better. Mr. Hurl, how are we doing?
Fine. Yes, I was. I've recovered from the snow today. We had quite a bit of snow here in Scotland, so yeah.
Wow. Well,
crunchy.
We've had no snow. Well, so we've had no snow. Nottingham, no snow here, but very cold. As is the situation at Spurs in terms of the injuries. Very cold. Not very good at the moment. Well, I say not at the moment. Well, we did a bit of a preview yesterday, me and Sid. There was obviously lots more we could have talked about. We didn't really get into the press conferences in great detail. Did you see both the press conferences? I watched both of them.
Yeah, I think I shared them to you and said Pep's and Angie's press conferences, and obviously I don't know if you've seen the little bit that's tagged on. There was an embargo bit in the press conference. Yeah, that's been recorded as well. I mean, what will be will be. I mean, I don't really get the doom and gloom. I mean, I don't want Spurs to win. I hate Spurs not to win. I don't want Spurs to get beaten. I should say, I hate it when we get beaten. But tomorrow, it's not going to be the be all and end all. It's if we get a shellacking, which we could get a shellacking, it's not. We just need to sort of step back a bit and say, well, look, we're currently on 2 points per game. And there's a lot more light than there is dark, and I think some of our fan base are getting a little bit like they might have been a bit too carried away when we were top of the table, but I know that as is always the case, it seems to be a bit too much dark. That's just my take on it. But yeah, I mean, Pep's looking forward to the game. If I was Ange, I'd be using that as a bit of motivation. You say, come to our team, to the City fans, come and we're going to have some fun. Well, maybe they won't have so much fun.
What do you think he meant by that? Because I was like, when I heard that, I was like, they had fun last season against us at their place when it was 2-0. They were 2-0 down. They won 4-2. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's not had a good victory against us. I guess it's the way that we're playing now. I assume it's the way that he's seen Postecoglou is coming to the Premier League and started the way he has. A lot of references to suggest that our style is very similar to Pep's style, the inverted fullback. So it was Pep's idea before. And you know what I mean? I think he maybe got that sort of... I don't think he's concerned in any way, but what I think he's probably got... Well, this guy's, he's getting all this praise and, 3 manager months in a row and all the rest of it. And he's a new kid on the block. But there is still only one kid on the block, and that's Mr. Guardiola having won 4 Premier Leagues on the spin, or they're going for the 4th. I can't remember. I've lost count. But yeah, I thought it was interesting in terms of what Pep said, but I wasn't quite sure about how you thought it meant. How did he come across in terms of what you meant by having fun?
With Pep, because English is not his first language by any stretch of the imagination. It's probably his third after Catalan and Spanish. It's you don't know whether to take it. He's thinking, he's quietly confident, as he should be. With his team, he should be confident going into most games, and that he's expecting to be a comfortable day. I hope he's thinking that, because complacency can set in. Sometimes he overthinks things. We all know. Remember that Champions League final against Chelsea, where he picked he picked the wrong team. He should have won that game, but he picked the wrong team and lost it. I think he's confident, and he would be. He would be confident. He's seen what the injuries and the suspensions have done to us. But even he was saying it's he's enjoyed watching us, and he picked out some very good. He picked out some very salient things. He was very complimentary about the way we started against Villa. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to read into it, and it's not the first, as I say, when it's not the first language of a manager. It's you don't know whether they're being a bit facetious, whether it's just gets lost in translation. All I know is that I just take Ange's word at its. He doesn't sugarcoat it. And I just it was could be a good game. I think it is a good game.
It's going to be a good game. I think what Pep. Obviously, I don't know, but as you said, it's not his first language. So fun, exciting, probably two very similar words in terms of what he would use in his vocabulary, but sounding very differently when you say them in context. So maybe the word exciting might have been the word, maybe to get the fans. Always going to be an exciting game, but a fun game in our sort of context might think, is he going to start taking the piss? But that's not even what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking he's thinking it's going to be an exciting game. There's going to be goals, because he knows the way that we play. He could never have said that last season when we had the old incumbent. You know what I mean? We would not play. He could not have expected us to come to the Etihad, given the injury situation that we have now, if we had Conte, and expect anything other than parking one bus, parking two buses, and have, a transit van in front as well. Because that's the way we would have had to have played against them had we had the manager last season. However, I was concerned. My only concern is obviously with the situation at the centre back, and also the fact that we've had 3 losses in a row. Nobody wants to lose a game of football, and you certainly don't want to lose 4 games in a row. And the fact that we've lost the 2 that we've done, and we've got some unwanted records in there. The first team, or for at least for a long time, that's been leading 3 games and lost them. Leading for 88 minutes against Wolves and lost that game as well. Those are the 2 things you just don't want that sort of tag to start hanging around him as a manager, because we've had tags before with Spurs fans, and I hate all them Spursy tags that people put up. When I listened to his interview yesterday, he's always confident. That's the one thing that you can categorically get from him: honesty and also a sense of confidence. And when you listen to the man, you've got to think to yourself, yeah, he's right. You can't really expect most teams to go to the Etihad and park the bus and win the game. It doesn't really happen. Their record suggests that 23 wins and 1 draw. But the teams that have had success in the past, or even success against City in the present, always seems to be the ones that have gone for them. That's what's going to happen tomorrow. Do you think we've got the players to do that? Given the fact that we played fantastically well in the first 30 minutes last week against Villa, can you see them doing that again?
There, my friend, you asked the $64,000 question, don't you? Can we do it? Have we got the players? If we had the likes of Romero and Van der Ven and a fully fit squad, we do have the players. I don't think currently, as of here Saturday night, the night before the game, that we have got those players. Our players would have to play out of their skin. But, the players that will be picked tomorrow would have to play out of their skin to do that. But it's funny, isn't it? Pep came to the Premiership. He started off like a house on fire, didn't he? He came to Tottenham. He lost. His first defeat was to us, and he didn't change. He didn't change the way he played. You know, he finished 4th that year. You know, so can we not step back a bit as Spurs fans and say, you know, we had a dreadful season last year. We finished 8th outside of Europe. You know, no one gave us a chance of finishing in. Well, currently we're in a Champions League spot. If the whole coefficients go with us. So I'm more than happy to allow the manager to pick and play the team in the style that he wants, and I will accept the beatings when we get them, knowing that when we get the full team back, and they will be coming back, Romero will be back on Thursday. You know, that will make a big difference to us. That, you know, we will start picking up results again. And, you know, no one told Pep to change. No one told Klopp to change when they were having, you know, their struggles. And they continued, and Klopp has done a brilliant job in rebuilding Liverpool this year. He had a tough time last year, but he's rebuilt them. But they still play in that an identifiable Liverpool way, just as Pep's teams play in a now identifiable City way. So we've got an identity. We didn't have an identity last year. We were just dreadful, having to go 1 and 2 goals down before we actually started reacting. No, let's see what we can do, and you know, don't diss the manager this early into the season. It's ridiculous, you know. We're
I think some people have gone a bit far. I've listened to some comments about, you know, how the manager, or maybe he should change his style. He needs to do this. I don't want him to change his style. Given the personnel that we've got missing, you know, it's always going to be a weaker setup that we have. However, I've seen enough to know that, you know, the players in the forward areas, even the midfield areas, if we count Kulusevski playing midfield tomorrow, which he did last week, or that's certainly at number 8 position. But we've got enough in that first 6 to be able to do them, and even in the wing back areas with Jodi and Porro, both of them have played very well this season. I don't even think it's so much that Manchester City will probably create more chances than they would necessarily do, even if we had our first team, because obviously those guys would probably be more attacking, and we leave it, and let's say chances are created against us anyway. My concern is that the players that we're already seeing at the back, A, are not comfortable as centre backs. B, physically, I don't think they're going to be comfortable against someone like Haaland, but they're more prone to errors. Whereas someone like Van der Ven and Romero, yes, they may still have that opportunity against them, but they're likely to probably clear it up. We can see the 1v1s. I would love to have seen tomorrow a 1v1 with Haaland in a race against Van der Ven. That would have been awesome, because I think Van der Ven would have had a brilliant game against him. Obviously, that's with, you know, my rose-tinted glasses on and thinking of something that's not going to happen until maybe later on this season or next season. Certainly if it's going to be at the Etihad. But I just think that we're more likely to make errors tomorrow than I think if we had that first team. And that's the biggest difference. Compound that to the fact, if, like I said, had we had 26 points and be in 5th place, and nobody said we'd lost 3 games in a row and it was just like this, that's where we are, I think everybody would have said, yeah, that's about where Tottenham should be. And I've heard this conversation as well. I think it's the fact that we've had such a good start, and now we seem to have stuttered because of the fact that we've seen that we're missing players, and everybody's like, oh well, that's it now. Well, that's it. We're gonna get down to 8th. I don't believe we're gonna ship loads and loads of goals tomorrow. I think there's gonna be goals in for both teams, and yes, it could be a 4-2, but it's not gonna be like some people say it's gonna be like an 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. We could be seeing double figures here. No, the other thing is, and the very good point somebody else made, because City like to have the ball, it's not like we're going to be camped in their half anyway to be on the halfway line. That was something that's a bit of a light bulb moment for me. Of course, we're going to have to drop anyway. And I've seen enough adjustments when they were playing Villa to suggest that that's not all what we do. You have to look at the game a little bit more. I just don't think Postecoglou wants to have to keep coming out and saying to people, why are you playing this high line? Because I don't think he necessarily does. Yes, when we've got the ball, you have to be high. That's the way you play the game. You have to condense the pitch as much as possible. But when you lose the ball, that's where, if you can win it back and you don't make errors, that's where you can be a little bit more clinical. And that's where I think the game could probably be won and lost tomorrow. What's your thoughts on this whole high line thing and people getting, oh, well, you can't do that against Man City?
Well, why can't you do it against Man City? Who says you can't do it against Man City? You know, is it an unwritten rule of football that you have to not play the way you play for the rest of the season? Do you know what the best quote that came out of Andrew's conference and press conference yesterday? I'm not here to build a team to beat Manchester City. I'm here to build a team to win things. And the way we win things is by playing progressive, high-line football. That's the way that teams win nowadays, more often than not. Or all around the world, it's progressive, high-line football. And I think, you know, that's good. There are 19 other teams other than Manchester. Well, there's 18 other teams other than Manchester City. We don't count ourselves, and we have to beat them as well. You know, it's strange how we've become. You know, it is all about timing. It's as you say, Sam. The 3 games in a row. The fact that they've all come together. The fact that we've, you know, even Andrew said, I've never had injuries and suspensions in my career come together like they have done for Tottenham. But I'm here to build a team to win things. And, you know, if he keeps saying that, and he's saying that to the players, and he's saying, you know, the players are bought into it, you know, and he said, if we ship goals tomorrow, it's on me. It's not on the players, it's on me. And he can only deal with the cards that he's got. And I just wish Spurs fans would stop being, it's either, you know, up here or down there. There's no in between. And it is in between.
There's no in between Spurs fans. And I've come to realise that. And I think that's down to the fact that we've seen so much adversity mixed with a bit of, you know, there's false dawns. You know, we've seen the 2 managers in Mourinho and the Conte era. We're not going to go back and talk about them for too much longer. In thinking, this is it for Spurs. And then it's like, what are we actually getting? We're not getting anything. Pav, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you both?
Very well, very well. We are talking Spurs, as we do on Talking Points.
We're trying to lift some of the gloom that's across social media and try not to sort of react to, we're going to get beat 6-0, we're going to get beat 5-0, whatever. It may happen. But
I don't think it will, you know. I'll be honest with you. Even if Manchester City on their best day, against someone like Sheffield United, they can put 6. Even with the players that we've got currently, as I said, it's just some of the individuals that might be under a bit more pressure because on them 1v1s, it's those small margins. It's like I've made this analogy before about the top tennis players. Yeah, the top 100 tennis players, all in all, are pretty close together in terms of their ability. The difference being the top 5, top 10. It's them big points, you know, when it's like juice or it's like advantage. That's when the difference is, when they can win them points. And if you watch and you look at the records, they consistently win them points to win the games, to win the matches. That's what it is. Again, it's going to be fine margins tomorrow. We might make a mistake that leads to an error. We might get City making mistakes leading to goals. We've seen that in the game that they played already this week. So we've got to take our opportunities. That is one thing that's going to be clear. We have to take our opportunities. And if we do, with a bit of luck, we've seen teams go there and give them a game. We've seen teams play Manchester City and win. it's all about timing, as I think we just said about that, Sean. It's like, yes, had we not lost 3 games in a row, and had we just come off the back of a victory and been on 26 points and been 3 points behind City, everybody would be like, yeah, we're looking forward to this game, even in the context that we have with these injuries. Pav, are you looking forward to the game tomorrow? And if you are, and if you're not, just tell us the reasons why.
I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to the game because I'm feeling very, very negative about what could happen. But it's a hard one because we can't have too much expectation because of the situation we are in at the moment, with obviously the injuries and then the suspensions as well. And obviously now that we've got Bentancur who's injured as well, it's just another kind of downfall for us. But I don't think, and I've seen on Twitter, and I've seen a lot of people are saying, you know, oh, we're gonna get like thrashed like 7-0, whatever. I don't think it's gonna be that bad, right? I think we'll put up a fight. I don't think we'll, you know, hold back. I think we'll put up a fight. I do think we're gonna lose or even draw, but I don't think we'll get thrashed.
I can say that's positive. We're not going to get thrashed. Yeah, that's somewhere on the road to positivity from Pav, because positive Pav is sometimes positive, as we all know. No, you're right. You have to look at. I've kind of gone over various different things, and I've been looking very critically at stuff. But it's only when I have to listen to what the manager says that I get a real sense of, okay, he's telling the fans this. He must be telling the players a very similar message, because he's quite honest in his approach. I don't think he's saying to the fans, saying to us in the press conferences, via the press conference, should I say, oh, I'm doing this and I'm feeling and saying to the players, Jesus Christ, you know what, it's Man City, you know, we're fucked. I don't think, obviously, that's not going to happen. So his confidence that he's given must translate to the players, and the taking of responsibility. You know, if these players have that sense that it doesn't matter what we do, to a degree, because it does matter what they do, but it doesn't matter in the context of being able to play the football that Ange wants us to play. As he said, the first 30 minutes against Aston Villa was some of the best football he's seen, and we've got X amount of players out. Now, I know this comment here, I think Newcastle still have 11 out injured against Manchester United. That's true as well. And we're in very similar positions, and they're playing European football, but they're doing really well. So they can get performances out of their players, even with the suggestion of the injuries that they've got. They went to PSG and got a result. PSG being the team that everybody says, oh, the fantastic superstars, they didn't click it on a day. So I'm looking at this from a point of view as Ange has given me, as a fan, confidence to actually accept whatever happens tomorrow. And I'm with you, Pav. I don't think we're going to get thrashed. And I even said yesterday, I thought, at the end, I said 3-2 Spurs. What? Anyway, that's me just being very hopeful. If we get a draw out to tomorrow's game, I think that'll be a good result. And I think just seeing the way that we play, more so that if we do play in a similar positive manner, that, you know, I think that translates good things, that we can do that against any team. And if we do it against Manchester City, that means we're going to do it everywhere we go, and it's going to yield its own results. Who do you think is going to start then? Let's have a little bit of a talk on the start. Pav, who do you think is going to be in that starting 11? And then Sean gives me his starting 11.
Oh,
it can be the same. They can be different.
Oh no! Don't do this to me.
Well, we can all agree on the keeper.
Yeah, obviously. And then
I think
like,
we could agree on the keeper and the fullbacks. I think the two fullbacks we could agree on as well, unless they're injured. Porro and Udogie.
Yeah, Porro, Udogie, Son, Kulu, Johnson. Oh.
Nah, this is where I had a little bit of a tricky moment with as well.
I know. I'm just like, oh. Do you know what?
It's got to be Basuma. Surely it's got to be Basuma.
He's gonna. Huh?
It's got to be Basuma. He's back.
Is he back?
He's back. Yeah, he's only one match suspension.
Oh, okay. Basuma. Who else is there? Oh,
well, that's two of the three midfielders.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to say? Davis and Dier. I don't know. I
You
think he's
Dier's
going to
gonna
play
come
Dier.
back?
I don't know if you
I don't
agree.
think Dier's gonna come. No.
Well,
Sean,
no.
what's your
You don't think
thoughts?
he's going to play?
He
I
won't
don't
be
think he's
playing
gonna play
If you saw Angie's press conference yesterday, Pav,
I haven't watched
he-
it. No.
No. He was, although a lot of people have reported it completely differently to the way he said it, when he was asked about Dier, Ali Gold asked him and said, "Do you need height? Is this a place for Eric Dier?" And his first word was no, but it wasn't no as in like as people expected. It was no. He said, "You know, he actually made quite light of it. I thought it was a really good answer. He sort of said, yeah, we've tried feeding our defenders a bit more. We have something different to make them grow, but they're the same height this week as last week. So I get the impression that he's going to go with Royale and Davis. Although from some of the drills that I saw at training, Dorrington was playing. So, you know, will he, you know, because that's what Eddie Howe seems to be doing. He's throwing in the kids. Will he do that? I don't know. It's a big game. I mean, I don't want to. I wouldn't want to destroy
hard,
Dorrington.
Isn't it?
I would. Sorry, before you go, Pam. This is what if he does that tomorrow. We lose any sort of scoreline. I'll be happy. Not happy, but I'll be more upbeat about that. See, because I want to see these youngsters come in. There's too many youngsters that we've seen this season that have come in and done well. Yes, it's Manchester City, but there's no easy game in the Premier League. Every team offers different challenges. At home, yes, we're going to be more dominating, but given the situation and given the style of play that we have, we're always going to have chances created against us. This is what I keep saying. So we're going to have to defend in a certain way anyway, because I've seen most games at home this season. I've been to missed a couple. Sean's been to a few, and we know what we see there at home. In fact, we see end-to-end stuff. Yes, we have more of the ball majority of the time, but it's still. I see Sheffield United create enough chances. I've seen who else have I seen there. Well, obviously the Chelsea game was a bit of a different matter, but every team that I've seen have created chances. So it's the errors at the end of it. I personally, can I just give my team then quickly before Sean gives his team? I'm going to say, yep, with Vicario at the back, definitely. I'm going with Porro and Adoji. Now, I'm going to say this. I believe that Dorrington's left sided. I think Sean give me that information. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with, this might be controversial. I'm going to say Dier and Dorrington, if Dorrington's a left-sided player. And the reason I say that, although I don't want, I can't see Emerson Royal being someone that could help a youngster through the game. Because of the language barrier potentially, not being, and I don't believe that Emerson Royal's a leader naturally. I do believe Dier has more of a natural leadership skills. He's just shit. So I'd rather go with a little bit more of a, well, you can help this guy through than miscommunication, whatever. So that might be the case for me tomorrow. Dier and Dorrington if he's left-sided. Had he been right-sided, Dier, would have been out of the equation, Dorrington and Davis. That's mine. Then you've got Basuma. I'm going to put Kulusevski in there, and I'm going to then put in there in the midfield Lo Celso, who I think Lo Celso did well in that last game. And I think he's got something to prove, and I think he likes to play those big games. Whenever he's been left out of those big games in the past, I think he's a bit of a sulker. So I think he'll do well tomorrow. And that front three, Gil, Son, Kulusevski, in my opinion. Sorry, Kulusevski. How could it be Kulusevski? Johnson. Kulusevski in the midfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kulusevski's going to play two roles tomorrow. We're so confident of being Man City, we're only going to play 10 players.
Yeah, that's how he's going to play. He's going to play in two positions. No, he's not that good. I wish he was. But no, he's going to be Johnson. I think that'll be the front three. But who knows? Sean?
Yeah, I mean, an interesting choice. I think Dier's bridges are burnt, to be fair. So I don't think he's going to pick Dier. So, but I do understand why you'd pick him. You know, in terms of schooling a young player through a thing.
Yeah.
But I do
feel if Dorrington plays, that's what I'd play.
Yeah, but I think he's going to go with what he had last week, and I think it will be.
I agree.
I think it'll be the same team with the obvious exception being Bentancur being replaced by Basuma. I think it'll be the same team. I can't, you know, I mean, I can't make a case for anyone else. Although Gill up against Kyle Walker, don't know. Is there anyone else that could do a job there? I don't know. Anyway, I think he'll go with the same team, but just swap out Benton Kerr with Basuma, and that's what we'll get tomorrow.
There is a couple of options. Like I said, you could tweak that midfield and put Højbjerg or Skip in there and put Kulusevski to start on the wide area and then keep Gill on the bench. And that's one potential option. The other option that Sid kind of said is to start Valise from the front, from the start, put Son on one side, Kulusevski on the other, and then have your midfield three again of Basuma, Højbjerg, and Lo Celso. So there is some options in there. The Valise one kind of interests me because we've not really seen him, 19-year-old. Again, would you want to see him in this game? There is a case for that if we can use the wide areas and get crosses in, because that's one area I think that Manchester City could be susceptible to. They have been in the past, and I certainly think something like that would cause Pep a little bit more thinking. Oh, I didn't realise Spurs were going to actually do this. I think they were going to play this way. Now they've got an option of putting a ball into the middle. We're going to have to maybe think about this a little bit more. And that's all I think it would do if he was to pay Valise. But I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be those three: Johnson, Gill, and Son. Happy days. Let's have a few comments then. Andrew will deliver pretty football, but the club simply refused to compete with the elite, and the leopard doesn't change his shoes. We must be talking about Mr. Levy. David Bray, how you doing? I watched Spurs ladies at Etihad, and the men's game will mirror that one in the sense that the ladies were good in possession and very progressive, but defensively were shocking fit this game. We'll see. Can't remember a game when I watched ladies football where I watched the ball. As What's the Point FC says, Sam, can you please look along the line, especially when you have 40 yards of open space to run into? We are going to have to take our chances, David. That's one thing that we have to say. Our forwards, if our defense does do somewhat of a decent job and keeps the goals down, because I think we'll get enough chances to score 3 or 4 goals tomorrow. I'm not joking. I think we will. It's whether we take them. So yeah, let's hope that Son can be onside.
I mean that challenge, that one where Son went through in the first half and put it in the corner. If Højbjerg doesn't take that extra touch and hits the pass first time, he's in. It's a goal. You know, and that's the difference between Bentancur and Højbjerg. Bentancur would have just took the first pass first time, and that extra touch allowed. Well, not allowed, but meant Son was offside. It's, you know, fine margins. It could, you know, I mean, I like what Michael Bennett's saying. It could end up 3-2 either way. It could do.
Yeah, it could well do. Pav, we've had the three defeats. If you was a bookie, and bookies are probably more often right than not, you're going to suggest that Manchester City are favourites tomorrow, which they will be, no doubt. So it looks more than likely that we'll go into off the back of this game tomorrow, off the back of 4 defeats. However, looking at the points in terms of the league table, Arsenal on 33 points now. We're on 26 currently. The worst we can be is 7 points off the top, having played 14 games. Now, we probably potentially could be 5th or 6th, depending on what happens in the game currently, Manchester United and Newcastle. Would you have taken that at the beginning of the season after 14 games? 7 points off the top, Arsenal leading the way, having led all the way last season. Manchester City obviously 2 points behind them, and us 3 and 3 points behind. Oh, you are reading comments further down, didn't you? What you don't lose content. I've not even got to it.
No, Sam, you didn't have to put in the sub clause about Arsenal.
Oh,
you didn't have to, you didn't have to put that in.
I
You just said 7 points off top. Doesn't matter that it's Arsenal on top. If we were 7 points off top after 14 games, you'd say fine. But that does colour that colours the answer, doesn't it? Go ahead.
The reason I said that is because I've got a bet with some Arsenal people again, so I'm desperate to be above them, and that's why I'm looking at them being the top and 7 points. But no, sorry, you're right. If
it's
we were
way
7
too
points
early in the season as well to even say anything at this point. Look where we are right now.
I've got their bottle to drop. You know, don't worry.
Exactly. Look at them last season. They're not going to stay that way.
Well, I've started something now, ain't I? Okay. No. I would have taken where we are at the beginning of the season, and had it been the kind of like we had the first couple of ropey games at the beginning, 2 or 3 games, we'd lost a couple, won a couple, drew it, and then we got to the point where we started to get better. I think people would have been happier with that. And I kept going back to the point of we started so well. You almost made it look too easy, but the circumstances have proved difficult. And one of the things that Postecoglou said in his press conference, which again is all the good psychological traits which I want from a manager that shows positivities. His words were, "You don't find out about his character when the good times. It's in the adversity." And he's right. He knows how his system works when they're winning, because you win. It's now how it works when you've got a bit of adversity. You haven't quite got your first 11. You've got some injuries. You've got some suspensions coming up. You've got tough games. You've had 3 defeats. How's the mental strength for the players that you've now got? Are you beginning to get this message across? And that's always been my biggest thing, the mentality side of things. What do you take from that message when he says things like that? You know, from a manager, that he's going to learn more about him as a person, and I guess ultimately us as a team in the adverse situation. And I guess we're in that situation now, Pav.
Well, that's a good manager right there. I mean, he knows what he's talking about. He can spot where we're at the moment, and he can identify that. What he's trying to say is not every game is the same game, and you've got to have your downfalls to be able to pick yourself up. And you're not going to have a smooth ride throughout the whole season. And he notices that. And he's not one of them managers like Conte or Mourinho just blaming it all on the players, like, yeah. And just, speaking so negatively. This is a manager who knows how to speak. This is a manager who knows what he's talking about. And that's why you can see that the players love him so much, because he is such a likable person, because he's not this negative person. He knows what he's talking about, and he said it himself. I don't know. I've read it on Twitter, part of his press conference, where it was like, it's the belief as well. You've got to have that belief, and you can see that he's got that installed into the players. You've got to have that belief to go forward, and that's what we need in a manager.
Good synopsis, Sean. What would you say to that?
I agree. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, it's people. I mean, just because Postecoglou has not had his experience in the sharp end of the Premier League doesn't mean that he doesn't know about football. He's 58 years old. He's been coaching since he was 12 years old. He coached his school team. You know what I mean? At the age of 12. So don't, he knows about how to motivate players, how to, how to get buy-in. And, at the minute, he's finding out which of the squad are bought in. And that's all he can do at this moment. He's now, we're getting closer to January. He was asked about whether he wanted to add to the squad in midfield. And he said, it might not have been a case 6 weeks ago that midfield was a place that they weren't necessarily thinking of. But he has to accept you've got 2 players going to the AFCON. You've got a player who's out till February. We don't know when Maddison's coming back. He's not coming back to the new year. They may well have to change their plans and look to, get a player in midfield. So, I mean, I think he suffers from the fact that he's not so much is unknown about him, but he's gone everywhere and had success. And I'm happier watching my football club this season than I have been for 2 or 3 years. The way we play, and I accept at the minute we're in the foothills of his project. We're just at And when we get to the top of the mountain, we'll be enjoying success, and we'll have players that can play his system. So let's not as I started off with this podcast, let's not get too down. Let's not get too high as well.
Yeah, let's not run out of oxygen before we get to that top of the mountain. That's what you need. No, this comment here from David Clark. I think you'll find it on Sunday. It's not when we're out of possession in general play that is the danger. It'll be when we have the possession and give the ball away with pass. Now that can happen at any point. And I've seen a lot of. You're right, but it's the recovery from that. So when you give the ball away in critical areas, the tendency is when teams are playing a transition game against us, which we saw from Villa last week, they're quick to get the ball forward. Manchester City are very different proposition in that sense. They like to maintain the ball. That's the control aspect. They will play direct at times, and depending on what their team is tomorrow, if it's going to be an Alvarez hardened front two that suggests a 4-4-2, but it never looks like a 4-4-2 when they're playing. It's just like that on paper. So they could play in any way, shape, or form. I do think the game's going to be won from their perspective in the wide areas. And I do think from our perspective, it's going to be one in the midfield if we're going to win this game. I think we can match City in the midfield area. I certainly think in the wide areas, it's going to be a challenge because Doku is a player that I rate, but they could play him or they could play Grealish. Either or, up against Porro is going to be a challenge for him. On the other side, Foden is probably likely to be. It's going to be a challenge up against a Doku. But both those fullbacks, I'm happy with. So then I'm looking more into the middle area and thinking, well, if they can try to keep them players quiet, which is going to be difficult, they've always got a threat in Haaland in behind. So it's going to be a strange game. But I'm with you lot. I'm just not going to be all doom and gloom. We're going to have to see what happens, and we're going to have to watch how the team actually performs. What's the point, FC? Where's the mini-me tonight? No bad covers of 80s. Mini-me. You're talking about Sid. God help us from set pieces, because even if Vicario is instructed to come for the crosses, City will soon be told to block him off. I think Vicario will deal with that. I'm not concerned about that. Not overly concerned about that. I'm concerned in the aerial situation that if they decide that they're going to play aerial into Haaland, but no, otherwise I'm all right. I think Andy's best bet is to go with Davies and a ladder to compete with Haaland. Spurs never give the youngsters the break. It will be Royal and Davis. Likelihood is. Just before I tell you that Spurs fans, most maligned ex-player scores 94th minute winner for the Championship leaders Leicester City today. Harry Winks. Talk about Harry Winks. Did you see his goal today, Sean?
Yes, I did.
He ran like he was a man possessed. He ran like I've never seen Harry Winks run in my life.
Isn't it amazing when players have the support of their manager, have the support of their colleagues, and are playing in a position that they're used to, they can produce things like that. That is the second last-minute winner Winks has scored for Leicester this season. He scored an absolute worldie against QPR a couple of weeks ago. So good on him. A fine player who was much maligned, and I'm hoping he has a great season and he comes back a winner of the Championship next season. I for one will be clapping him when he arrives back at White Hart Lane next season.
Do you think he's got an opportunity, given the new regime at Spurs, Pav? Our friend Harry Winks.
No, he's sold. He's gone.
So when you say come back, he has gone. He's been sold. Of course, that was part of the deal, wasn't it? When we got Madison. Well, it wasn't part of the deal, but it was kind of sort of part of the deal. I thought he was on loan. I'm thinking that he's been on loan that many times.
No.
As he comes back to play against us.
He's gone. And, he's
as in playing against us. Yeah, sorry about that. I missed
playing against us.
Guess who? Harry Winks. Yes, it was a good goal. Kulu could play 3 roles tomorrow and still not score. It's just saying what I see. I don't. I thought he
Chelsea.
played well.
Chelsea. Who scored for us against Chelsea?
I thought he's done all right this season, to be honest, personally.
Bournemouth away. Bournemouth away. Hold on a second. That was Kulusevski.
David, you started again. You started saying when you said
Manchester United at home. Who's crossed that Saar put away? Oh, it was Kulusevski.
Kulusevski played well this
David.
He lacks pace.
David,
You've
been fine till just now. Now you're talking out of your bottom again.
I think Andrew would have to throw a Mars bar on a picture on the 60th minute for Brendan Johnson, as he's that type. He would get winded pulling the seal off a yogurt pot. He's not that bad either. I think these explosive players, you have to give them some degree of, it's when you're playing at that speed, and you're constantly having to go up and down, which he's doing, and he's in a new system as well. He's going to look tired at times, but he puts the effort in. I think he's going to be a good player for us. I totally disagree, because I've looked at it many times, and the pass didn't take too many touches in these strikes, so you can hit the pass when you're balanced, and that's what he did. So 100% on Son.
David, take your dentures out of your bottom, mate.
Unlike thousands of Spurs fans, I don't spend a million seconds thinking about Arsenal. I spend a million seconds thinking about when I've got bets against my mates who are Arsenal fans. That's why I spend as much time thinking about them as I do. Look, this out of Ange's hands. No club has got this many first choice players out. Potentially.
Newcastle
Pep would be in serious trouble if he coached this current 11.
He would be. Yeah, he's right. I mean, it's if Pep was coaching Spurs, I'm sure Pav would probably say he'd struggle.
This is the new Iniesta. All right, then. I want to go and see this Man United game, Newcastle game. Pav, give us your thoughts about this week as a Spurs fan. How's it been for you? Your final thoughts.
I mean, but I'm just looking forward to the game.
Sit up for this one. You had to sit up for this one.
She was lying down there. She's exhausted.
Like, now here we go.
It's one of those.
Oh dear.
That's my attitude right now, guys. Okay, I'm just like, you've just got to take it as it comes. It's going to be one of those that's out of our control. We're at a massive disadvantage, and we've just got to take it in our hands and go from there. I don't think it's going to be a game, like I said before, that we're going to get fresh 7-0. I think it will be obviously a tough game, but I think we'll put in the effort and we'll get some sort of outcome out of it. Yeah.
We'll get an outcome. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's such a politician answer. We'll get an outcome. Of course we'll get an outcome, Bav. That is a Rishi Sunak. If I've ever heard a Rishi Sunak answer, that's one right there. We'll have an outcome. Yeah, we will do. Sean, what outcome do you think we may have?
Oh God!
Nah, go on, you have because you didn't give no score yesterday. So I'm going to get score predictions of both of you two. So what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
I don't. I think I'm gonna say 3-1, and that's not to us.
Perhaps saying 3-1.
I'm sorry. Negative hats on right now.
No, it's not negative. Like
Sean,
the manager has said the manager has given us enough faith to think that we're going to give a performance in win, lose or draw. I think we should be proud of whatever the team does. Now, if we have a stinker, that might be a different matter, but I don't think we will. Sean, your final thoughts and what your predictions are for tomorrow. David is still going to reiterate his 5-1, by the way.
Yeah, he said that yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it could be 5-1, but I think it will be a bit closer than that. I'm going 3-2, but it could be either way. It could be either way. I mean, I think it will be a humding. It'll be like a slugfest. Two boxers just trying to punch each other out. Yeah. So I think it could be 3-2, but I think it's going to be probably more likely City. I'm looking forward to West Ham. That's where we're going to pick up points. That's where we're going to pick up our next win.
Yeah, I want to see how we play tomorrow, because this will indicate everything that we need to know for the rest of the. I think we already know this, how we're going to play. But if you can do this against City at the Etihad with their record, with the players that we've got out, and if Ange goes there and does what he said he's going to do, I'm just going to be right. I know exactly what we're going to be doing throughout the whole of his tenure, and I'm comfortable with that. And I know once we get them players back and we start getting the transfer windows in, we're good. We're good. Just need the oxygen to get to the top of the mountain. That's all we need. We need the oxygen. David is being kind of his prediction of 5-1 to C. What's the point, FC? You lot can laugh. It's all funny in that, yeah, because I know what people are doing. They're trying to put off it like, oh, we're going to lose or we're going to lose badly. And then if we don't lose badly, oh, we didn't lose too badly. I'm not going to think like that. I'm thinking that we're going to make a game of it. And I think, as I said, could be 3-2 to us. Let's get ready to rumble indeed. I'm 100% behind Ange. He's a future for Spurs, but the only thing I will be behind tomorrow will be the sofa.
Good one, Dave. Good one.
He does.
I'm down the pub, so there is no sofa. But yeah.
I'll be at home. I'll be at home watching this one. Can't get bloody away tickets. Couldn't even get one for the Forest game away tickets. It's terrible. They've got to sort that out. Terrible.
Yeah, I've stopped applying for away tickets. It's just
it's
waste of time.
Crazy.
But yeah, I won't be on the reaction show tomorrow, but I'll definitely be on one of the streams midweek. So
cool.
We've got a game on Thursday, so we'll be busy next week.
Yeah, we will. Apologies for the timing of talking points. It's just due to circumstances, sometimes beyond my control. But this one, yeah, we had a little bit of a false dawn when it was supposed to be 12:30 today. There was people out. There was people out doing things.
I was at hospital.
I didn't say anything. I just saw the WhatsApp messages. Oh, I'm out. I'm at hospital. And some people just put like a little emoji saying, oops, I forgot. So I had to put it in the 7:30. It wasn't me, people. It was them lot. Anyway, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment, a couple more.
And don't forget to share the stream as well with your friends who might be watching something else at the moment.
Share the stream. That's a good one as well. Thanks for applying, but you have been unsuccessful. Okay, it's time to go now. I want to see what we do tomorrow, people. Join us tomorrow. The game's at 4:30, so probably around about 6:45, 7 o'clock-ish, I guess, for the reaction show. And it could be some reaction show. So make sure you join in. As we said, like, subscribe, comment, Paxton Road TV, PRTvSpurs. That's it. I'm done. I've got to get the old tune out. I like the old tune, as Sid has done. I always misplace it. It's somewhere. There it was. This one. Oh, bloody hell. His outro. He's always changing where he puts the outro. There it is. I found it again. That's the one. All right, then. I'm professional, as we can see. But we'll be back tomorrow, people. See you later. More developed,